Hey YouTube, what's up? So if you follow me on Instagram, you saw I want to revive this way I'm doing YouTube, starting with a Q&A. So I posted a picture and had y'all comment on things for about a week. So go ahead and get started. How did you and your man meet and how long have y'all been together? Me and Brandon met actually when I went to Alphalete for the first time. I had no idea what it was at all. And he was actually working there at the time. So that was February 2016, I believe. Yeah, February 2016. And we were just like friends at first. We were just like both in relationships, and we just got like closer, I guess, as time went on. And yeah, it just kind of, once our relationships with the other people ended, we just hung out more and more, and now we live together. So we've been together like officially, our date is August 17th, but we were like unofficially together as of like last June. So about 2 years, or June 2016, so about 2 years we've been together. When did you know you were ready to compete, and how did you find the right coach for you? When I got into like the competing world, I really just didn't even know what I was doing. Most people don't know what they're doing when they first get into it, but I was training with somebody at Alphalete, and then Brandon actually took over my prep. How did I find the right coach? I mean, like I said, me and Brandon were friends, and he knew what he was talking about, so I listened to him, and I got, lean enough to get my national qualification. So it's not about, it is about finding the right coach, but I'm not really sure if there's like a method on how to do it. But basically, a lot of coaches have, social media or a website or something. So kind of look at the athletes that they've put on stage, and look, maybe even contact them and ask them how they liked their coaching, and, just like general questions about their methods. So you can kind of get an idea of how that coach works. And I mean, a degree is great, but I'm not going to say you need a coach with a degree, because I've seen a lot and know of a lot of coaches that don't have a dietetics degree or don't have exercise science degree, and they produce the best athletes on stage. So you never know. Just do your research. And when I know I was ready, I kind of wanted to do it for the heck of it, and then when I did it, I kind of fell in love with it. So that's how I knew. How do you train your quads down to achieve a long and lean sweep? My middle quad is bulky, grows like crazy, and overpowers my side pose. So my quads are the last thing really to get small enough for bikini division. I really don't do anything specific to train them down, but I do only train quads once a week. So it's really just about getting lean enough and being smart with your training. You don't want to overtrain one part of your quad. Make sure you hit all the heads. But I know for me, if I do absolutely need to lose a little bit of mass in my legs, instead of Stairmaster, I will run or walk at an incline on a treadmill. So that's kind of how I guess keep my legs smaller for bikini division. But when that's over, I want to have some big old quads. But I don't know, I just like training quads. So you posted a story about having long-term back problems. I too have lower back issues, degenerative disc disease, and I was told not to squat, deadlift, or load any weight on my back. This has affected me mentally and physically. How do you cope with pain if you have any modifying your lifts to work around this issue? So a lot of what with my back is just about listening. There are good days and bad days. If it is a bad day and it happens to fall on leg day, okay, you're not squatting today. Keep the weight bearing on your spine type exercises to a minimum, at least for me. So it's really just about listening to your body and being smart. Like I said, good and bad days. So, on a good day you can train it. But unfortunately, if that's something you have to deal with, yeah, it sucks because other people don't have to deal with it, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So just everything to be healthy and mentally, but in the mental way, I guess, it's just, you kind of just have to accept it and do your best to work around it, and then, you know, really hit it hard on the good days and just kind of capitalize on what you can rather than focus on what you can't do, because, you know, nobody likes to be told you can't do something. So why don't you shift your focus to the things you can do? It's a lot easier said than done. I know I have a lot of pride with it, but you know, you just have to do it. Yeah, there's a lot of people out there with like a lot more hardship than that going on, so you just kind of have to recognize that and, you know, move forward with what you can do and focus on the positive things. What are your top 3 tips for staying productive and on track while trying to juggle school, fitness, competing, or hustle, etc.? Okay, number 1 that I can think of right off the bat is a planner. I have a planner that I plan like my day to the hour. It had like 6 sections. I had room for each subject, and then my personal stuff, and then her hustle stuff. But I mean, you just gotta make a schedule and stick to it. And I guess my second tip is put all the things that like you may not want to do, but you gotta do at the beginning of the day, and go from there. You know, leave the fun stuff for last. Like I always left, you know, going to the fabric store and picking out new stuff for my headbands and, you know, creating new designs. I always left that for last, even though it was very important, because in the morning I would rather go to, you know, school and everything, get my workout in, go to the post office, do my shipping, talk to suppliers, literally just so many things. But so yeah, planner, hard things first, and I guess it's kind of generic, but like enjoy it. Remember, if you're thinking, oh my god, you're like stressing about it, I'm so busy, I'm so well, like, you obviously, you know, you can stress about something you love, but if you really love it, you're gonna love putting that energy into it. And I really, you know, I felt in some times that there was so much going on for me that, you know, something had to give, but then I look back on it and nothing gave, you know, like I enjoyed every moment of it. You know, I had nervous breakdowns, I had crying, I had to deal with freaking UPS losing my packages. You know, I had to deal with this stuff, but otherwise I just enjoyed the process. And then, you know, when things did go wrong, I just focused on the next task at hand. I'm not one to like dwell on anything, so it was good that I could just keep moving forward. How do you calculate your macronutrients and calories? Should I know my BMR first? I feel like no matter how much I track and eat clean, I can't lose weight or body fat. So I'm sure you've been told before, losing weight is all about less calories in than out. So there's so many different opinions on how to calculate macros, but honestly, it's just you have to get what, like, okay, with my clients, sorry, rambling. With my clients, what I do is, you know, I get their current habits and I kind of go based off of that. So if they tell me, like, you know, what they eat in a day, I can kind of go through my head and count up how many calories or how many of each macronutrient they've been eating in the day, and then you kind of go from there. If they haven't been doing any cardio, you know, there's so many factors on how to really start your macros, but it's all an experiment. There's no algorithm, there's no exact answer that I can tell you based on your height and weight or even your BMR, but like it's kind of a trial and error thing, and that's why it is a long process. That's why there are coaches. So you can set some macros and, okay, be on point, finish your water, take everything, you know, like do everything perfectly for a couple days and track your weight daily, see where it goes. Okay, you gained 5 pounds. Well, obviously you're eating too much, so you need to go back down. I hope that kind of answers that question. Hi. No, you're okay.
Oh, you're fine.
You're just talking to a wall. It's all good. So I hope that kind of answers that question. I'm sorry I can't give you like a definite numbers for you or an algorithm, but it really is trial and error. So just kind of try it out. Like if those macros make you lose weight, you shouldn't really go too quickly. So, you know, if you lost 3 pounds in the first week, that's way too fast. So, you know, increase your food and you'll find the happy medium if it's a trial and error process. How do you start your first prep without a coach? Well, to make any coach's life easier, you need to eat more. If you're losing weight and like going in a caloric deficit for say 10 weeks before you decide to start prepping, well, you already kind of used the, like say you have a string, this is your string in prep, well you've already used part of it. So if you're going to work with a coach, you're putting yourself and your coach at a disadvantage, because if you just keep going down, at some point there's going to be nowhere left to go. So when I know I'm going to start a prep, say from 12 weeks from now I'm going to start my prep, in these next 12 weeks I'm going to eat as much food as possible strategically. Don't like go gain 30 pounds, but I'm going to work up my food as high as possible with maintaining a decent weight for my prep. So how do you start your first prep without a coach? I don't recommend you do. Prep is very hard on your mind, and no matter what you say, you will get body dysmorphia, and you definitely need a second opinion that's going to look at you in an objective manner rather than subjectively. During a prep, what would you say is the hardest part? Is it all the cardio you have to do, or is it the dieting part? I find the low macros part to be the hardest to stick with. I like to eat. So, to me, I rather do a lot of cardio and keep my food. Some people are different. Some people want to do like less cardio because they just hate cardio, and then less food. But personally, it's not even about me being like a hungry person. It's not even about me liking to eat. I'm just like a hungry person in general. And honestly, on low macros, I just feel like crap. So it's definitely that's definitely the harder part for me. That's so much discipline. The cardio is like, if you get started, you're gonna finish it. But with the macros, I don't know. I start craving things at night, just saying. I just started my fitness journey in January and need to know. I like to drink, so what do you drink when you go out? Oh, well, on prep, I definitely don't go out and drink. But I guess right now, I kind of stick to like clear liquors. I have like the occasional Dos Equis, the occasional Amaretto Sour, the occasional margarita or something like that. But generally, I would say stick to shots. And either shots or like mixed drink with like 0 calorie or like tonic water or something like that. So personally, I would say like tequila or vodka shots, and my go-to is Sprite Zero or White Monster and vodka. So a lot of people do sugar-free Red Bull too. That could help, but that's what I like. What do I think about carb cycling? So carb cycling is a good method for when you're trying to break through a plateau. I don't think it's necessary to do it otherwise, really. But when I do, I kind of do it strategically. So like on leg day and stuff, I'll have my higher carb day. And then like, if I'm on a 2-to-1 ratio or something, so 1 high carb day and then 2 low, So I think it's a useful tool, but it's not necessary to like lose weight or gain muscle or, it's just another tool. Are you going to compete again? What are your tips what are tips you have for someone doing their first show? Is it easier having your boyfriend there for you when you're competing? And what's your favorite cheat meal? Yes, I am going to compete again. When I get up to my like target carbs and weight keeping down here, that's when I will know that I am ready to prep again, because like I said, with the string thing, I will have a lot of string. What tips do you have for someone doing their first show? When you're in your prep, give it everything you could possibly give it. Like, if you're going up there to want to win, if you're going up there for the hell of it, give it all you got, but like, it's not that crucial. But if you actually want to make a dent in the sport, you have to just submerge yourself in a prep. And it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be fun. Wait, that sounded really bad. It's not going to be fun in the way that you are going to miss out on some things. If you go out with your friends, because I go out with my friends during prep, but I'm the sober one. So if you go out, if they're all drinking, you're not going to drink, So you just have to, that's my tip. You are going to have to make sacrifices, but those sacrifices will be worth it. Is it easier having your boyfriend there for you when you're competing? Yes. What is your favorite cheat meal? Oh God. I really enjoy some like big old pancakes from IHOP. Hop, not Hob. I really enjoy like the blueberry pancakes from IHOP. And then if I want something savory, I want like a really good burger with bacon and some like Parmesan fries or something. And then I just really enjoy some untracked froyo. So I guess that's 3, but it's fine. Oh wait, sushi. I don't know. I really like food. Weren't you recently on prep? What made you decide not to do the show? I was recently on prep. You can take a look at one of the pictures in my profile. I put a whole big explanation, but what made me not, in a nutshell, is my body was not responding the way it needed to. Like I said about the string, I thought I had this much string when I really just had this much string. So we just gotta take more time off, that's all it is. Saw you like hard style, do you like hardwell? Hard style, I don't know if hardwell is a lot of hard style. I think more into like maybe the underground side of hard style, kind of like hardcore music, you know, just not hardwell. I don't really listen to hardwell. You're looking good, boo. What are your favorite styles of training for both lifting and cardio? I really like drop sets and supersets, just kind of things that keep your heart rate up while you are lifting heavy. But I really don't complicate a lot of my lifts. I just like to do the old-fashioned stuff and just, you know, lift as heavy as possible. And then for cardio, some days I like steady state, but I always do Stairmaster. And some days, honestly, I just like to do some HIIT, and sometimes my HIIT is just making it up as I go. What's the number one advice you would recommend to a first-time competitor stepping on stage in a few weeks? I already went through that, but adding on to that, confidence is everything. Be humble, but when you're posing in your routine, you own that place. You own it. What do you think about swimming over running for cardio? I've been swimming competitively pretty much my entire life, and it's kept me in shape and isn't hard on my joints. Honestly, if it burns the calories, do it. I wish I could swim, but I think I'm gonna like drown every time I get out of breath when I'm swimming. I'm a terrible swimmer. Any tips on dieting and trying to maintain the weight / progress when out of the gym for surgery? Not really. You know, stay as active as you can. If you can take a walk, take a walk. Don't, you know, overeat on your food, but don't undereat on your food. Just kind of remember that obviously you're not going to burn as many calories, so you're going to take less in, but it's still very important to eat. Have your legs always looked really good, or do you have to lift a lot of heavy weights to get that look? They've always been like shapely, but I hold a lot of like fat in my legs, so you know, body fat percentage is definitely a big part of it. And then yeah, I've lifted for a very long time, either with like high school softball or CrossFit or now this. But yeah, like I said earlier, I really like to lift heavy, and I don't think you can get that like shape without that. So how did you get into weightlifting or training after CrossFit? What was that transition like? Actually, my back was starting to hurt pretty bad, and in CrossFit, like, I just no longer had the want to work out for performance, and I kind of wanted to do it, you know, to like look good and just stay active, keep a strong core for my back, and yeah, so that's how I got into training after CrossFit. I just kind of like wanted to do it, and then I slowly stopped going to CrossFit, and now I'm here. Do you have cheat meals throughout your prep? If I have a cheat meal, it's a calculated cheat meal. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Yeah. But usually my like cheat meals aren't something like a dirty cheat meal. It's like a, you know, I get some extra rice, or on a good day I go get froyo. How come you took your belly piercing out? I just kind of grew out of it. What's the biggest positive impact from IG and the biggest, if any, negative impact? The positive one is that like I really have made friends around the country and around the world, and it's cool to be able to like reach different people, and you know, like I live for the little like DMs I get that like I inspired somebody, or you know, something like that. And then the biggest negative impact, now it has kind of become like my source of income and way of life in a way, and I don't know, like I have time for other things, but I also sometimes I feel like, oh God, it's already saturated, you know, I'll never you know, make enough to live the life I want just purely off of social media, but it's going well so far. So how tall are you, and who's your favorite DJ? Oh God, the DJs. I'm 5'1", and my favorite DJ, actually, wait a second, my boyfriend is my favorite DJ. I really like Billy Kenny. He's a tech house DJ. I don't know if he's like, yeah, he's probably my favorite. Billy Kenny. And then on the other side of the spectrum, I really enjoy like Anchor Fist. So I already answered how did you and Brandon meet. Do you ever feel like you get caught up in prep? I'm prepping for my first show and I feel like I get caught up just trying to make sure I don't miss anything I need to be doing or worrying I forgot something. Does it get easier? Yes, it does get easier. You just got to make it a routine, and just like everything else that you do, make a routine, it will become a habit. Just, focus on the end goal and remember why you're doing everything that you're doing. My favorite food? Probably sushi, but I really like pancakes too. I don't know, one of those two. Where are the shorts from? Actually from Gilly Hicks. I've had them since like 7th grade, sorry. I'd like to know a realistic approach to building my shoulders, like timeline-wise. How many days a week should I focus on shoulders? For how long should I see progress? So with building any muscle, it's going to take a lot of time, and you're going to have to eat a lot of food. So I can't really give you a progress thing, because it really just depends. Like, are you saying if they're going to show soon or if they're going to grow bigger? You can definitely lean out faster than you can build any significant muscle. So it just depends on what you're trying to do. And how many days a week? I train shoulders twice a week. What do you plan to do now that you've graduated? So right now I am pushing Her Hustle. There's a lot of behind the scenes thing going. Pushing that, and then I'm about to start personal training here in Houston. And then also with my degree, I'm pursuing other opportunities that I will talk about another time when I need to. But yeah, otherwise just living life. What's your favorite non-fitness clothing brand, and what is the most difficult part of dieting in your opinion? I'm more about making affordable clothes look really good, so I really like Forever 21. The most difficult part in dieting, it's just spreading out your food where you're not like starving at the end of the day, or where you hit your macros. How many hours do you work out? I work about 1.5 a day, depending. 6 days a week. How do you deal with not being able to work out while having an injury? I feel like I'm losing all my progress, but I'm not clear to work out yet. I kind of already answered that, but you just have to be patient. Your body needs the time to heal, and you'll come back stronger afterwards. And I think I skipped one, but it was, what's your favorite TV show, I believe? Sorry if that wasn't it, but The Office. I was prepping for a show but ended up moving. The next one I'm prepping for is in October. I was just curious on how you started Her Hustle business and how you grew your Instagram after your show. Eventually I'd love to do something like this after I do my show. I'd love to start a little fitness side business with the brand, so I was just curious on how you did. Really, I just did it. So I started with my headbands, and I remember wearing some headbands, and they were from Walgreens, and people kept asking me where they were, where it was from like 6 months on like all my pictures. So I finally was like, wait a second, if all these people want these headbands, why don't I make this headband? So I found some fabric, found a manufacturer, slapped my name on it, and made a Shopify account, and advertised it on my already existing market, which is Instagram, and now we're here. Or what hormone issues have you gone through after bikini preps? I found out during my prep this year my hormones were completely shot from last year's prep or 2 shows. I gained 10 pounds over my normal due to such complications. I was wondering how you deal with these complications as well. So mine is just like a lower thyroid levels, lower T3 specifically. So first of all, get it tested. Know what the problem is. Then thyroid especially, it just takes time. Right now I'm reading this book, Medical Medium Thyroid Healing, so I just started that. I'm gonna kind of keep y'all updated on how I do deal with that, but it really is just patience and control over what you're eating, and just really just get back to taking care of yourself and use those numbers that you got your blood tested with as a baseline. And periodically when you feel better or just look better on more food, just kind of slowly reverse out of it and work back up on food while trying to maintain the same weight-ish. Hold on.
I just didn't want to be raining.
But it's just about reversing out of that instead of giving into all the cravings and the extra food that your body wants right now. It's about going very slow from the very start. And honestly, if you mess up, I'd hate to say this, but you're kind of screwed. And not in a long-term way, but if you say, okay, just a few days of going absolutely nuts and you gain 10 pounds, some of it's water, but say 5 pounds of it is fat. It could happen. And then you try to start reversing out of it, it's just going to be a even longer road. So it's really important to just find some macros, be consistent, and build up from there while keeping your weight within a 2 to 3 pound range. That's what I'm doing. I don't have, this is the first time I've had to kind of deal with this issue. So, because I went so hard in 2017, this prep was like a failure. But, that's why, like I said earlier, I'm creating more strength now. But yeah, that's pretty much all I can say. Working out with post-nasal drip. It's not a virus, so basically I feel the way someone with a chest cold would feel. I have the energy to work out most of the time, but this week being my peak week, I've been really trying to watch my macros, but haven't been very good at tracking since I feel that my body needed to recover from this allergy. What should I do in this last week? Should I focus on recovering and ease up on workouts? Post-nasal drip, so if it's not actually hurting your health to keep pushing through it, especially on peak week, push through. If it's not actually hurting you, it may get uncomfortable with the symptoms, but if it's just an allergy, you can still push just as hard. You can still, eat the same amount of food. It just may suck in the way of symptoms, I guess. How do I stay motivated? Well, I've talked about motivation a few times on some Instagram captions, but it really is just however you want it. As cheesy as that is, it's not really about discipline. It is about discipline. You have to think about the end goal rather than what you want right now. So I think motivation is a myth because nobody has it all the time. And if they do say that they have it all the time, they're lying. Just saying. That looks like all it is. So I hope I answered some of y'all's questions. I'm sorry if I missed any, but thank you so much for watching this YouTube video. And there's some dude working out here now, so I'm gonna get out of here and go back to my room. Looking forward to uploading some content for you. I already have video ideas for the next one, so go ahead and give this a thumbs up. It helps me out a lot. Leave some comments. I will reply to them. Yeah, subscribe, all that good stuff. But thank y'all, and I'll see you later.